out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the session. I will obviously introduce our guest. We usually have these sessions once a month, and we invite, if we have access to the author, we invite the author to join us. We have a month to read the book of the author, and at the end of the month, we invite the author to come and join us. If we can't get hold of the author, we discuss the book amongst ourselves as the book club. So please feel free to suggest books, and we'll obviously take it from there. So I'm just going live on. Okay, great. So thank you so much, Jabu. Thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time. I feel like I'm very abusive of you, but I know that you are also doing this, from the fact that you really care, and you want to also contribute towards the development of entrepreneurs in our country. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming through. Greatly appreciated. So how the discussion is going to work is we have, I think I've divided this discussion into 3 parts. So the first part will discuss the book. And then what gave rise to the book, why did you write the book, under what background or circumstances did you write the book. So that will be the first part. So we'll go into that. And then the second part will be your entrepreneurship journey, right? I have one entrepreneur that I mentor who is in the hair product space. And she's obviously quite happy to be here. She's looking forward to, the conversation. And I asked her that she must ask you a couple of questions as well. So the second part will then be about the entrepreneurship journey, your journey, and what has been your experiences and what your lessons have been. But also importantly, what has been your experience after writing the book? Has anything changed? Are you thinking of revising the book based on what you have learned so far? So that's the second part. And then the third and last part will open it up for discussion with everybody. They can throw in their comments, they can throw in their questions, and let's have that discussion. So I'm gonna sort of try and take about 30 minutes of us just interacting. And then the rest of the remaining of the time of the hour will just be interaction with everybody on the platform. So thank you so much. Jabu is one of the inspiring entrepreneurs in the country. And I think one of how I want to start this, Jabu, is to just thank you for the courage and the journey that you have taken in an era where most of us, when we start businesses, are first-generation entrepreneurs in our families. We come from a generation where most of our parents were working full-time jobs, and there were very few inspiration that we can pull from our own families. And it was very hard to say, I'm leaving what has traditionally been working for our families to be an entrepreneur, because there was no frame of reference within the immediate frame of reference within our families. So it was very hard, as first-generation entrepreneurs, to try and navigate this on our own without family understanding. But we had to look up to people like you. We had to look outside and look who's doing this and use those as a frame of reference, as a motivation case for us with our parents to say, look at Jabu, look at Rese Mosonyani, look at Richard Maponya. They are doing it. So it's very much possible, and I would like to thank you at the outset for pioneering. I don't think we appreciate the previous generation that came before us, who have pioneered the path for us in doing this. So thank you so much. It's through people like you, we are able to say, you know what, I'm not starting completely from scratch, but there are people who have done it before us. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. So with that, getting into the book, you know, my first question would be, what really prompted you to say, you know what, I want to write this book. It's important that I write this book. Is it something that you wanted to do? Were you forced to do this? You know, what prompted you to say, I'm going to write a book?
First of all, thank you very much, Raj, for giving me this platform, to interact. I don't take these opportunities very light. I'm very humbled and honored to be one of your guests, in this program. I know we come very far, me and you. I mean, we've done so many things together. So I really appreciate every time you think of me to come and motivate, your team, your club. First of all, I would say, when you ask what made me to write the book, as an entrepreneur, from time to time, you go to different platforms to talk to youth, young people, to kind of motivate them about business, and more especially in my space, we talk about product manufacturing, and that is being a space whereby people, they look at it as something that is very far, like it's undoable. Now, I would go to the group of 250. Then my concern was, what about other people that are not at that conference and they hungry for this information? How do I spread that? So the only way that, at that time, and then I realized that, you know what, I think, let me share my experience in the business, to them through writing a book, and give them the background, give them, because at times when you run a business, when you start a business, you always think you are the only one who's going through those challenges, those difficulties, until you hear from somebody else that I am not the only one. This happens to all of us. But if nobody comes to you and tell you that, you won't know. Now, that is where I came to say, look, this has to be done. I have to share my journey with young people, and I have to share with them the journey in type of business that I started in the, more especially the business that was never there, and trying to show them that, the challenges of starting a business that was in there compared to the challenges of the existing business or the business with an existing market. Because I started a business without a market. So for you, you are in a better space to start a business that has the market. So then I felt, let me share that with the entrepreneurs, the next generation out there, because I always say at our age, we need to leave the baton to the young ones. Let's make them to see that the life is easy. It is doable, as much as it looks not possible, but it is possible. So I think that's the reason why I thought of writing this book and explain as well my background, because, as a Black child, our background is the same. The way I grew up is the same way, other kids grew up, especially during the days of the struggle before 1994. So that's why on the book, you realize that I start from my background, things that influence me as a child, things that influence me as a person. Because remember, whatever is influenced, that's what will actually, made you to go forward. Hence, from time to time, I will speak about the father of the Black consciousness, speak about the old man that I befriended who gave me a camera as a present, which I took that camera and started, taking pictures, and it became a business, So that is the background. We are from all those backgrounds. We must not take our background for granted. And as well, the people that have influenced our lives, we don't take those people for granted, because I always say that our destination is known long before we're born. So whatever space we are born in, appreciate and take advantage of the lessons you've learned. And from time to time, I talk about the lessons from my mother as well. Those are the things, those are the people that close at your heart. giving you the life guidance. And as you grow, then you realize, wow, this is what my mother meant. Wow, this is what I learned from this old man. Wow, this is what I learned from Steve Biko. This is what I've seen. So those are the things that, and then now after that, getting into the business space, because we always say that the first thing in life you need um, to be able to have income. Now we know that you must be working first, and from working, we know the challenges of being employed, and from there. But it's a good thing first that you are employed, but you need to grow from then. Then from employment, I talk about that as well in the book, that I was once employed, but as being employed, earning as an unskilled laborer, what happened? Then you kind of, can I improve my current situation? And then what do? You improve your studies, and then you move to another level. I always say that you can only go as far as your eye can see. When you are there, you see further. So those are the things that I'm trying to educate, writing the book, to show people that it is doable. And it doesn't matter how you started as an employee or as somebody who's work, or you started a business, or you inherited from home, but it is doable. So I think to answer your question, what made me to write a book, the message, really the reason was to share the experience that I had, in terms of the business journey, and the influences of things that I've learned from the people who are closer to my heart. I mean, the entrepreneurs in my township, the guys that we looked up on them, and at times I always tell a story whereby you at times you feel that the walls are getting closer to you. You don't understand, how do I start my business? What do I do? And then until you go and ask Prabanban, who's got a shop next door, or who's got a wholesaler, and then when he tells you his story, you realize that, wow, I'm not the only one. This happens to all of us. The only thing you need to do is to hang in there and don't stop. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. It doesn't matter the turbulences you're going through. They are there. They will always be there. But the only way we take you forward is to keep moving. I'm not too sure whether I'm kind of answering.
No, you have. So you decide you want to write the book. You want to, you're in a conference. There's 200 people, but you feel that the message needs to resonate with people who are not in the conference. And I mean, one of my favorite authors, Seth Godin, says that books are idea spreaders. Basically, they are just in technology that spreads ideas. So you decide to write the book, right? So how do you write this book? How did you write it? I mean, did you say, I'm gonna sit down, handwrite it first with a pen and a paper, or did you have a computer and you just said, I'm gonna sit 2 hours every morning? How long did it take you to write the book? Did you write it yourself? Because I know there are people who have ghost writers. Was it a combination of you writing it and someone else contributing? How did you write it?
You see, first of all, it comes as with an idea first. I need to do this. I need to write this book. But where do I start? I mean, that idea can take about 6 months up to a year, And then the nice thing about writing a book, you start talking to the author. I talk about people like Fred Kumalo, who is a very close friend of mine. And, I said, hey, Fred, you always read his books. And then he said, Fred, man, I need to take this story. I need to write this book. I need to take this message out there. I need to do this, but I'm not a journalist or a writer or anything. But where do I start? And then Brett just said, you know what? The only thing that you have to start writing. Put your ideas on the paper. What is it that you want to do? Start doing something. Then from there, you will keep developing that. Because remember, even if you have a co-writer, the co-writer is there to assist you, but the co-writer is there to narrate. He must, when you write a book, it must be your voice. It must be you talking. It's different from somebody writing about me, but it's me writing a book. It must be me talking. And then the co-writer will have to interpret, exactly what is it that I want to say, So it is extremely important to have somebody who's have an understanding co-writer. That's, and I met some ladies as well who said, look, man, Jabu, I do have a book that I've written, I just want, just to check something here, so you find somebody comes to you and said, yeah, but Jabu, I've got a book, I've got this, and then say, please, can you assist me there? So you keep consulting, you consult and talk to people, and then fortunately, you meet an author, what you call it, a publisher, a book publisher, and then it makes even life easier once you meet a publisher, because they've got a team within their structure who will sit down with you and guide you through, whatever you write, but you have to write your story. You have to tell them, and then what they will do, they will help you, put your heading. After putting the heading and said, okay, you are talking about this, because look, you're just gonna write, because you don't know, just look, this is the beginning, and I've done this, and then they will come and say, okay, but I think let's set the heading on this one. Oh yeah, actually you are talking about this. After they read what you were, after you've given the script to them, they said, okay, let's put this as this heading. And then this one, okay, is different from that one. Oh, but on that one, you are repeating what you've said at the beginning. So let's bring it back into chapter 4. And then when somebody reads, it makes sense, it falls with it. I think you need an expert. So, and then when somebody reads the book, it must be able to flow, it must be able to flow from the beginning all the way up to the end. And also the spelling, the spell check and all. So those people are experienced. They know that you really need to have somebody to assist you. Otherwise, the challenges that we know, some of the stories in the media whereby the book was written with spell check, spelling was not correct and all that. So you don't want to go through that, because I'm not a professional in spelling. So you need someone who's gonna, so when you present it out there to the market, it must give a professionalism as well. And also the reflection of you, who you are. That is why I said it must be your voice. Your voice must be echoed in that book.
How long did it take you to write the book? Was it a year, 6 months, 2 months, 2 years?
I'll say for me, because I've been, thinking about it for quite a long time. But the actual action, it took about a year, if not less than that, because it was there already. And then I kept writing things and put on the side, write again. So I had a lot of things written down. So, but to put it actually, and then it took about almost a year.
Okay. So let's get into the book, right? Some of the things that I think, I read the book a while ago, I think after you just released it. And I also had to reread it again. But before and I haven't asked you this question, I'm asking you this question for the first time. Before I get into the book. So Jabu Stone, initially I thought Jabu Stone is like like this rappers, AKA Jabu Stone, what. So here's a black man, a Xhosa man from the East with Jabu Stone. How do we get to Jabu Stone? Is it Amache or something? And you translated it because it was easier for the white people to understand. Where does that come from?
For the white people.
Where does that Jabu Stone come from? I'm sure I'm not the first one to ask you that question.
Actually, Raj, the name Stone, my father, I think it comes back from, I always say that our destination is not long before we're born. Yeah. My father, Stone was his street name, and as a young man as well, during his time, he, they had their own influences as well. And I think as he was growing up, he decided to change his surname from Sithole to Stone. And then, he grew up, and then he, moved to the Eastern Cape, met my mother, as Stone, but, identifying himself as a Zulu man, he's Zulu, and from Sithole to Stone, and met my mother in the Eastern Cape. And so that name stayed. And I think by then in the Eastern Cape, there are a lot of Xhosa people with English surnames as well. I think maybe he didn't find it necessary to change at that time when he was on the other side.
Yeah.
And I think it's not me that changed the I was born a Stone, my birth certificate, everything, it says Stone.
Okay. All right. No, thanks. Because I was, I've always had this in my mind, but you have these people who, Abum Tim Kulu, they've changed to Claude Boom, Abum Kize to Mackenzie. So I was trying to understand, maybe there's also some, translation to Stone. But thanks for that. When we get into the book, I mean, Brajabu, I just finished reading quite an interesting book, Native Merchants, the journey of Black entrepreneurs in South Africa from way before colonialists, And one of the things that resonates, one of the things that, because I love history, so I read quite a lot of history, and something that, spoke about was a celebration of Black entrepreneurs before colonialists. And somebody was saying that there's this impression that Africans didn't mine before the colonialists. And in fact, and he was asking, if Africans didn't mine before the colonialists, how did they manufacture their bow and arrow, the spear? How did they manufacture the spear if they didn't mine? So I found that to be quite interesting. In the book, you talk about, growing up in Ginsberg, yeah. And back in the day, deep apartheid South Africa, you talk about the 70-year-old friend who was older than your parents. Where did this thing of entrepreneurship, we are referencing you and your Mabonyas and who was your reference point in saying, I want to be an entrepreneur back in the day? Or was entrepreneurship even something that you even thought that you want to do?
I think, those years, Raj, my father worked for a sweets factory, so he used to bring sweets at home, packs of sweets. So those sweets, I would take them and go and start and sell them at school. I think that's where the whole thing started, So I would go and sell those sweets, and then he realized that he would keep buying me those sweets, and then there would be soccer matches over the weekends, whereby there's not soccer as such, and it was rugby. I remember rugby, and then we'll go the rugby matches, and we'll go outside, and then I'll start selling those sweets. I think the whole thing a little bit started there, but I think to me it was a way of having extra cash, not really when I was younger, So, and then when we moved to Davidton, the family, we all moved from, Ginsberg to Davidton because to join again my father's family. And then moving to Davidton, and then I had this camera, that the old man gave me as a present when we left Ginsberg coming to Davidton. And that again, that camera, because I always have the thing of I need to have extra cash. I think I didn't like maybe the idea of depending, to get money from, keep asking all the time at home. So, and then by having that camera, and then I remember that camera would have a film that you'll only process 8 in a film. So, it was a kind of camera whereby when you take a picture, you wouldn't like a normal camera you face all the way. That is the one that you put it next to your tummy, and then you look down, and then it will, help to see. So that's a camera that I had. Very old model, using only the sun, if there's the clouds, and then it can work, but there must be, it must be sunny. So that's when, and then I started moving on that, getting some extra cash on that, So the issue of dependency I never liked it. I wanted to be always independent, to have extra cash for myself. And growing up again, I remember, at Fosteras, we had a teacher there who used to read James Hadley Chase,
Oh, wow.
And when it was a free period, Mr. Ngubo would give us the stories that you've learned, all those mafia stories, Kapakichuri Kapi, all the things, and we'd be so excited. Every time when there's a free period, we'd be so excited. But what I would do, I would take that story in from Foster's, and I go to Davidton over the weekend, and I will invite a group of my friends, and I will let them pay. They would pay, and then I will narrate that story that the teacher gave us during the free period. So then they will start paying me for that story. So those are the things that I think I wanted to start making my own cash from an early age, So whatever opportunity, I remember again when we had a place where we'd go and watch a cinema. We call it a theater, a theater, in Davidton. So I would go there with my cousin, and the tricks as a young boy, those we were called magicians, young, whereby we'll do little tricks and start making money out of those tricks. So my cousin, me and him will, we'll stand there, and then I'll start making these tricks, but he'll give me a sign to indicate while others don't see, those little things. Then I start making money. So those are the things that we grew up, and we will always try something to, to make money. Either we're giving story, or we have these magician things, because people, they would please look at me and say, I am a magician, So I think that dependency to the parents for money, it was never in me from an early age, because my brother started working. But I remember my brother, when he goes to work, he will go to my room and ask for money to, for transport, or for, money for lunch. And I'm like, oh, okay, go to my pocket, because I'll have money, and I would use what it's enough for me, and then the rest will be, and then he will take it. So that was a kind of thing. And, from an early age, really, I never liked to depend on parents to get cash.
Okay, great. So, I'm gonna just ask one last question, and then I open the platform for comments and questions from everyone. So if we fast forward to you start this product, and I think one of the things that you have done that I found to be magical, and I don't know if it's something that was easy to do, was you started a product in an era where dreadlocks, there was no market basically for dreadlocks. Back then dreadlocks were this dirty thing, people who smoke ganja, outlaws, these people who are renegades, and people who they are just, outcasts. You just know if somebody has dreadlocks, it's those ones where they don't wash their hair for a very long time. It's smelly, it does all these things. And what you have managed to do, and I can't think of any South African entrepreneur, you have managed to change that perception from these things that people look down on into this thing that people, like, I want. It's not this bad perception that it carried. How do you do that? How do you go into a space where there's no market and create a market? And how difficult was it? Back in the day, your straight hairs and our sisters' scalps will be burning, they'll be running to the basin. It was just chaos. How did you say, I'm going to change it? Is it something that you said, there's a gap here, I want to change the perception? Or was it, I'm doing this because I love dreads? Did you have them when you started? Or was it, let's see, maybe there might be something here. That for me is quite an amazing thing. I find that it's not a lot of entrepreneurs who are able to do that, who are able to say, I'm starting an industry completely from no industry at all, and I'm going to pioneer this, and I'm going to create a market. Often as entrepreneurs, we go into spaces where there's others who have already went in there. How did you, I know I'm asking you a very long, an open-winded question, but are you able to say, this is how I did it, this is the blueprint of how I created an industry where there was none?
Okay, let me go a little bit back on the hair industry, Rog. With a family of hairdressers at home, my mother started doing hair as a teacher. The colleagues, and she maybe the choir, she had a choir, and a choir before they win, it's based on uniform. And what my mother would do, would plait ladies the same style and cut men the same style. Those, the issue of, and it will help from time to time at home. I think the issue of hair is been like a thing of in our family. We all hairdressers. All my sisters, my elder sister, my younger sister, we're all in the hair industry. We love hair, So I think it started there. But now, remember I mentioned earlier on that your background will kind of influence where you're going. Remember, I mentioned the father of the Black consciousness, Steve Biko, and that be Black and be proud, all those things. I think we grew up with that, philosophy of, black as you are, your skin dark as it is, your hair kinky. So those are the things that, those are the lessons that we were taught by Steve. So coming now, when I joined the industry with my sister, had a salon, and I realized that because remember, I worked first for a company, in the engineering department. So getting there to join my sister, and then I saw the people, the relaxer things that the damages the scalp and all those things. So those are the things that I look at them, and they would go to, she had a doctor that would go to them to find that the scalp is damaged. Those are the things. And when I look at that, I said, but this is a little bit too harsh. What else could be done? Is there anything that could be done with I mean, our sisters? Let them not suffer for beauty. So I think that thing, took me from one step to another, because, and then as the entrepreneurship spirit, kind of the bug was kicking in me, and I'm like, hey, I want to start my own business now, because at engineering, I don't see myself running a business, because we are working more with telecom and the old post office. I couldn't see myself running my own business on that. Then I said, no, let me start something in the hair industry, but I'm not happy with this, what is happening in the market. Talking to my sister, and she didn't see anything wrong. And then that's when I said, no, man, let's try. And what is it that one can do? But it goes back again. Remember some times ago, at my early days, I used to attend a FUBA, FUBA, a Federated Union of Black Artists. I would go to FUBA to learn drama, weekends and all that. So there, I met a lot of guys with natural hair, locks and everything, the artists, musicians. They were having all the locks, but that hairstyle was not accepted, as you've mentioned in the market, that nobody wanted to be associated with that hairstyle because it was ganja smoking and all those things. Then in the mind, I said, that hairstyle is the only hairstyle that didn't have chemicals. But the look and feel of the hairstyle was a little bit rough, because you would leave your hair to grow organic, that is unkept, it start growing on its own. And then that was a challenge. Now I looked, I said, but I look at the braids, I said, but women, after they relax their hair, they've got what you call it braids, which is your synthetic hair added your own hair, and then it gets longer and all. So I started making a research, and I said, no, man, let me go through and learn more about this. Then I realized that your hair, African hair, can grow forever, because now the curl that keeps, that we see the hair, when it's afro, you keep pressing it, but if you pull that curl away from the scalp, it grows, it keeps growing. And then I made that research, and I realized, oh, but why can't we work on something like this? Now, but what product am I going to use to maintain this hair? Because nobody wants it, and I don't have a product. I'm not even a chemist, and I've just finished engineering. My sister is the one who perm and relax the hair. I'm just assisting there. And I said, but what can we do? Then fortunately, there was an old man right there that Silo was supplying a hair grower. Then I spoke to Dr. Silo, and Dr. Silo said, look, man, I just want to start something, a product that can maintain a hairstyle. I don't want to change this. Dr. Silo said, no, go and talk to Dr. Hansel. Dr. Hansel, a German doctor. And then I went, I met Dr. Hansel. I explained to him, I said, look, this is the kind of hairstyle I want to do. And then I want to come up with a more cultivated look, whereby you can have the same look and feel, but looking at the braids. But I could see that those braids, they could be your own hair now, growing. And I'm sure, but women would love this, And then, because I didn't have it, and I didn't have the hairstyle myself, because when I was at FUBA, I wanted to have the hairstyle, and then I was told that I must stop that nonsense, because maybe I want to smoke ganja now. That's what my parents were like, stop that thing. And then I had to stop because we didn't want to be associated with those negative and ganja smoking. And then I said, I stopped. Then I realized that I was also a victim of the hairstyle that I loved, because they said, I want to be like those Rastafarians. I want to look like those ganja people, But I said, what can we do? And then when I met Dr. Hansel, and he listened to me, and I said, Dr. Hansel, I want to come up with something, man, the product that can, protect, because I saw the Rastafarian, the hair is very dull. And when I asked the Rastafarian that they shampoo their hair almost 2 or 3 times a week, and the people with the relaxer, they go to the salon every second week. And I said, but the ones with the relaxer, the hair looks much cleaner and nicer. But those who clean them more than these guys, the hair looks rough then, but their hair is not dirty then. What is it? Then I realized that the sun, the ultraviolet rays of the sun, they hit, and they kind of pressure the hair and they start changing the color and they become brownish and all that. It's not that the hair is dirty. It's because of the ultraviolet rays of the sun. And, with the research and Dr. Hansel, my research, really that took us back to, let's come up with a product that when you apply, you must put a sunscreen agent to protect against the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Now, that product at the same time, it must be a product, when we twist, we try to hold the curl towards a certain direction, it must help a holding power. Now, Dr. Hansel, because I'm not a chemist, he knew what products were going to help on the holding power and the protection against the sun, the ultraviolet rays of the sun. And I said, but Dr. Hansel, I also need a product that will add moisture on the scalp, because when you shampoo your hair or you shampoo your scalp, you've got natural oils that you strip those oils away when you shampoo. Now I need something that when you apply, you're going to add moisture and all those things. Then Dr. Hansel came up with that. Really, it was not an easy thing. It took a long time, and of which my sister disagreed with me because she could see what I was doing. She couldn't understand what I was talking about, because here is an industry and she's making money. Why do I want to do something that nobody knows about it? Nobody wants to do it. Why? But for me, because I felt that is why I think the teachings of the Black consciousness, they really kicked in at that time when I started, because I cannot explain to you, because I remember Sandy Lememena, one of the journalists, he asked me, Stone, why this? Before I told the story, I was born in Ginsberg. And then we're talking, and then one day he said, by the way, where you were born? I told him, then I started narrating Steve and all that. And then he said to me, no wonder, maybe that's what made you to, that was from Sandy's analysis, that. But that's why I said your background, I think that's part of the things that really made me to say, I am going to do this. This is that's the type of business I want to do in the market. As much as it was not bringing money, right? Because there was no market there. It was very tough. Nobody wanted to have the hairstyle. But because of that thing, say, I wouldn't like to see the people going to the basin, going to the doctor because the scalp is damaged and all this. Why? There were a lot of skin lighteners at those days. People you see, Banamashubaba, when you look at them, you're like, but our sisters really? And the hair and the skin. So to me, I felt this is what I want to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I have 1 or 2 questions, but I'm going to open the floor for questions. Colleen, let's start with you, because you have hair products that you are working on. If you don't mind coming through, asking your question or comment or advise, but just keep it short so that we can take as many questions as possible. And I'm sure everybody would like to see you as well. So,
okay, I'm going on now.
Okay.
I don't have makeup on. I have lipstick
That's
on
fine.
though.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Stone. How are you?
All right, thanks. How are you, Colleen?
I'm great, thank you. I firstly just want to commend you for changing the way that we as African people perceive ourselves and our beauty. It's commendable, and it's part of the reason why most of us are delving into ethnic hair care now, or hair care, because we changed things completely, Rosh and I. But I really want to say thank you for doing that for us, because we are the current generation.
Thank you for that.
Sorry, my throat is just a bit, I don't know, it feels like there's something stuck in it.
No, you're at home. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Okay, I've just got 3 questions. I don't have many questions. So the first one, we discovered during my brand sprint that I did with Rosh that one of the foundations of my brand is creativity. So when I was reading your book, it actually struck me that you got quite a lot of media projects. You got quite involved in a lot of media projects. So my question would be is what steps or which steps do I need to start taking in order for me to also in the future or the near future get involved in media projects as well, or have my products used in a film set or a series set or music videos is what's trending now. So what steps do you advise that I take?
Okay, maybe Colleen, ask all the questions and then
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number one. And number two is currently my focus is also on increasing sales volumes. So are there any, or is there any advice that you can give me as to how I can actually increase my sales volumes, or any tips that you can give me, any pointers that you can give me that I can work with? And then the last one, entrepreneurs are opportunists, right? So the last question, I do have a mentor. I'm very happy with my mentor. His name is Rosh, as you know him. But I would like to find out if there's... I would just like to find out if we could maybe just have 1 or 2 sessions where we could just sit down and get more insight on the cosmetics manufacturing side of business as well as the cosmetics market. I really think that I could learn a lot from you just by sitting down with you and getting some tips on that as well.
Thanks, Colleen. The mentor will think about it before setting up the meeting. I'm joking. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very insightful question. Thank you. Jabu,
am I allowed to switch off my video?
Yes, no,
or should I stay on?
No,
Thank you. Thanks.
Quickly, Colleen, is this product, just I want to know, is the product that she has, is it a cosmetic product, Rosh? Colleen, is your product cosmetic?
Yes. Yes, it's a hair care product. We firstly,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay, first of all, the media space, what made me to get into, your feelings, your media, your whatever, it was market penetration. The only way I wanted to get into the market. Now, the only way for me to get into the market was a celebrity endorsement. Now,
okay.
Yes. So once you do celebrity endorsement, you talk to the people that are in the media space that are loved, that people want to follow. Nowadays you talk about your influencers on social media. So those days we didn't have social media. We had personalities, your television presenters. So those are the people that I would target. Go to, like, I remember we did Yizo, the film. We were like invited to take care of the hair. We did Tsotsi, Tsotsi, that like those Oscar awards. So that was a space I would target, and I would send my whole team there. We did Big Brother Africa. When Big Brother came, then we'll have a whole team of Jabu Stone inside the Big Brother and all that. By the mere fact they are there, and then I'll make it a point, guys, I'm not charging you, but I just want Jabu Stone name to be, my team must wear Jabu Stone name there. I mean, they must be branded. So those are the things. To me, that was a strategy that I used. And it kind of worked for me because I remember there was a program that used to play every Friday's music program on SABC.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the one that plays every Fridays for musicians. They would come and sing and everything.
Oh, okay.
There was,
Jem
yes, Jem Early, yes, Jem Early.
Yes.
So if you notice, most of the artists were calling the Jem Early. They had a Jabu Stone t-shirt. I'd put their name in front. Maybe if it's Boom Shaka, I'd put Boom Shaka in front, and on the side to be Jabu Stone, Jabu Stone, Jabu Stone at the back. And I will make those t-shirts for free, and they love it. Bongo Muffin, all the guys, your DJs, your DJ Pindi, DJ Fresh, when they were still at YFM, I will approach these guys, can I make t-shirts for you? But I knew that the front would be pretty nice, Bongo Muffin or Boom Shaka, and then on the sides is the Jabu Stone, and the Jabu Stone at the back. Hence, people, when they see the Jabu Stone brand, they thought it's a musical brand, Abu Arthur. So I would approach all these guys, So I knew that the record labels wouldn't make a lot of marketing material for them. So I'll offer, no, I'll make it for you. But I remember even DJ Spoo during the days of Umzegezeke. I mean, I was approached there by Abo TK and Loiso Mangena. They said, hey man, Brian, please, man, we need you to do this. Then what we did, I remember that was Summer Awards. We printed there, please vote Umzegezeke now. Put a number back and front, and then the side I put Jabu Stone. So the media space is for exposing your brand to the market. You keep doing that, you know. And I remember in the salon, some of the guys that said, oh no, come on, take care of your hair for free. You're not gonna pay. But as long as you go out there and start telling people that Jabu Stone did my hair, because people didn't know who Jabu Stone was. Then the people like Abu Silomake, you know, they were the part of the guys that I used, Abu Nambi Champumbluana, Yvonne Chakachak, you know, all the guys. So I worked Hot Stick Sipo, Chikapa, you know, Rapiri. I would go then bulldoze and just do it. So the only way is that you just keep going, Colin. You don't care, you just go there. And if somebody says, the only thing you can say no. You know, it's not gonna hurt you, but you keep going. Another one said, no, yeah, sure, why not? Please come, you know. And they find out that it doesn't have a budget for cosmetic for hair. And I said, no, I'll do it for free, but please, like backstage those days, in backstage, I took care of the artists there. You know, I'll put my team there and do this, but at the end, my petty backstage, I need something written there, Jabu Stone in big. So those are the things that I would, that is a market penetration, you know. Now, the second one, we're talking about sales and volumes, you know, that is, but I think before you go on sales, you know, once you do number one, whereby your market exposure, and then there will be a demand now. People will start asking about the product. Now, that's where now you need to look at the value chain. I'm not sure where how do you sell your product? Who do you sell it to? But there is a value chain now because you have created a demand. There are these people that they said, yeah, we are looking for Colin, a hair product. Colin, where do we find it? You know, so that's where now you need an existence. You need to look for shops that can keep the product. But trust me, the chain stores and they won't even allow you to go there because they want to ask you, why must you keep your product on the shelf? Who are you? Who you know? So that's where now you look for, you know, your corner shop people that you create a relationship, and then whoever is asking, whoever has seen the product from your like the person you've used in the media, and then when that person phones, you can tell, no, go to the corner small and Brie or corner this, you'll find your product there, instead of saying, no, phone me, I will come and deliver to you. No, you need to create that kind of a distribution network. And then your sales will start growing from there. And of course, while they're growing, then you make sure that your manufacturing is on point, your you know, the professionalism, the quality control, the, you know, your shelf life. Those are the things that you need to have a new, and also the look and feel, you know, because the other thing, you find somebody's got a product and then it's written in cursive letters, you can't even read, check it, you know, the whole thing is cute. So you must try to write it straight. Somebody must be able to read it. Jabu Stone from afar, you know, read that, must be readable, Colin, something. So you cannot, no, I must be cursive, I must be smart. No, must be able to be readable. Read it. So those are small things that people don't understand. So that is once you have that, you've created the market. Now by doing number one, you're creating the market, you're creating the demand. Number two, now you need to increase sales, but you need a distribution network where the availability of product, where they're going to get the product. The minute the product is there as well, now you also, once you put on those stores, you need also to have somebody going to help you to keep looking with it. Oh, how many units left on the shelf? You know, so you keep consistency, because if you don't do that, somebody goes and buy the Colin body lotion, for example, and then following week can't find it. Then he sees the Jabu Stone next to it. He's gonna buy a Jabu Stone. And by the time the Colin comes, no, I'm used to Jabu Stone, then I'm not gonna buy this Colin because I don't know when at times it's on the shelf, at times it's not there. Consistency. So those are the things that you need to be constant in your product, and make sure that the exposure is there, and then you keep that momentum all the time. I don't know whether I'm answering you.
Yeah, and the last one, mentorship session, are you available for that? 2
Yes.
sessions?
You know, Colin, that one, I will leave it to my boss here, which is
Okay.
Rosh. He knows that when he screams, I jump. So I will leave
No,
that with him. He knows. He's asking a question, he's supposed to answer you on that one.
No, that's fine. I think we'll make it happen.
I'm available
Jabu,
anytime for
Awesome.
your team.
yeah. On the second question, there's a story in the book, and I think it's better you explain it, where you were talking about, making sure that the product is in the stores, and you talk about where there was this store, I think in Small Street somewhere, and they did not know Jabu Stone products. And what you then did is you just sent people there to say, don't you have Jabu Stone products? And obviously this was after you tried to get your product into the store and they rejected you. Then you start sending people to ask to inquire about your product. And then the guy, because there are people who are coming to inquire about the product, then he comes back to you. Maybe if you can just take us through what happened there.
Yeah, and Rog, this guy, I mean, I still remember the names. Megan was a funny guy. So Megan, I go to him. I said, Megan, I've got a product here. No. What product? No, we don't want this. What's that? No. Hey, now I'm tired of every time people say, hey, bro, I want the product. Antona, I'm gonna come around that side. Where are you? No, I'm in the market theater or I'm in town. Okay, let's meet. Then it's in the boot. I sit down. But I need a shelf somewhere. I can say, go there, even if I'm not around. Then Megan doesn't want to keep the product at the shelf. Okay. Then I collected my friends. I said, Jens, can you go there and ask for the Jabu Stone? There by Megan. They went to him because Megan said to me this time, nobody has asked for this product. Why must he keep it? He can't keep a product that doesn't move in his shelf. Correctly so. He's in business. Then I sent my friends. They went. And then they went again. I said, they must keep going for the whole week. They keep going. And then after that, I went past there. I said, Megan, I said, oh, Jabu, you know what? All of a sudden, people are looking for this product. I said, can I put 6 units only? Maybe you're not sure. I don't want to, now I'm going with this. I don't want to like your space. I know we have to put products that are moving. Can I put 6 units there? They said, I'm not sure. Then I went back to my friends. I said, gents, please go there. They went, they bought the whole 6 and they went back again and again. Then I disappeared for 2 weeks. And that 2 weeks, I made sure that these guys are going there every day, putting pressure to Megan. Then I appeared 2 weeks later. He was not impressed with me. He was very angry with me that he is losing business because of me. And then I said, no, but there's something on the, when you go to the store, you find there's Oros in the front. We call that it's a gondola. Or you find a peanut butter in the front, and then from there. So that space, when you go into the store, you find that gondola, you pay for it. So you don't get it for free. But to put on the shelf, they can put on the shelf there. So, and then when he was angry with me, then I said, you know what, Megan, why can't I give me the gondola? Let me just put my products right here so people can see the product is here. So when they were looking for it, they know that they can see it while they're walking past. Because Small and Bree was a very busy street, small, very busy street. So he agreed. And then, so that's how I managed to get the shelf space from Megan. So those are the tricks that I've used in the past, just to make sure that my distribution is taken care of, because at the same time, you need you need your product to be seen, you need it to be available, you need to make sure that is the part. The people you talk to, you must remember, they are in business as well. They don't want to keep a product that is not moving. But it's your duty to make sure that it is on that shelf. Either by sending guys, or you're not, but make sure that it is in the shelf. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to suffer if people are looking for the product. You've created point A, which is the media space. You've got your celebrity endorsement. And then what? You have to come, the step 2 now, availability. So you have to, the circle must keep, from one step to another. Don't stop and just the person, then you stop there. You have to make sure that it is on those shelves. I don't know where I'm at.
So I'm thinking to myself, you say you vanished for 2 weeks. So I'm asking myself, how do you vanish for 2 weeks? Surely there's a cell phone, they can contact you. But then I realized that it was an era where there were no cell phones. So you could easily vanish for 2 weeks and no one would know where you are.
No, there were cell phones at that time. Okay. But yeah, there were cell phones. But, the issue of trading with cell phone. It was not that. But there were few people had cell phones at that time.
Yeah.
So that is why I will only use it for times we leave it at home. You won't even keep it. You just use it when you get back. You know, it was like now. Yeah.
It was a mobile phone that was a landline that you leave at home. Exactly. So you get the gondola. It's in front. You get your products into the store. Is the stock moving then? Because I mean, previously it was your friends who were buying the stock. So now that you've got the product into Megan's store, into his shelves, is it moving? Or now that you are no longer sending your friends, it started to be slow?
Okay, now the product is on the shelf. Now we've got what we call a promoter. You get a promoter, somebody who's going to stand there in the shop, and whenever somebody walks in, you know, and be friendly. Hi, my name is Bongile. You know, your hair looks nice. Can I introduce this product to you? So you have somebody like that. So that person's job is to promote your product on the shelf. Make sure that it moves, and then the look and feel. She's wearing a Jabu Stone branded T-shirt. So those are the things that you have to follow up with, because it cannot just sit there on the shelf. You need to create the awareness as well. And you need to have somebody, a presence, because when somebody walks in there, he's there to buy another brand. But the promoter blocks and said, no, you know what? With this product, it's a new range, it's a new product, natural, with a sunscreen agent, your emollients, your water. So you give a little bit of the product knowledge. And then when she tells the person, it's like, wow, where is it, this one? And then that's how you have to have somebody like that. And the store owner gets very excited, because now the product is moving on the shelf without costing the store owner, because it's that promoter, you pay that promoter yourself. And then that's what you do. You have to have a promoter. Because when somebody walks into the shop, there's about 50 lines, more than 50 lines on that shelf. Then he's got to choose. And then now he's going to choose from the eye level, or he's going to choose for the attractive container, or the tech name that is coconut oil, cocoa butter. So people look, but if you were a promoter, you don't look on all those things, because she is telling you about the benefits of this new range that you don't know about it. It's a new product. It's a Jabu Stone product. It's a South African brand. And people, that's how the product started moving from there. And from there, now Curtains has got friends. Curtains, his friend, he said, but Curtains. Then he says, no, I've got this product. And then it goes to another one. Now, you remember Curtains, where he buys his product, he buys it from a wholesaler. That time there was Jumbo Cash and Carry. Most of the shops would go and buy their products from Jumbo. You know, most of the big companies, your Unilevers, your Tiger Brands will put the product, then people will buy. And then now the director of Jumbo, now people started asking about, because I went there first to list my product. Then he said, no. You know, want a listing fee, want this, they were not interested. Now, Curtains and his friends now, because from Curtains, I went to his other friend and his other friend and his other friend, because that's where I would take my product. But now they must look for me now. They can't find me, but for them, it's better if they can find the product from Jumbo. When they go there to buy other things, they could also buy Jabu Stone. You see, now the demand I've created among them, now they are the one who are elevating that, putting pressure to Jumbo Cash and Carry, who is a wholesaler, who kicked me out, who said, no, Jabu, we don't think your product is, we can't keep it at our store. Now, I remember, Roch, I was sitting in Jimiston, you know, Golden Walk. Still remember sitting at Golden Walk, had a meeting with them. Then I had a call from Steve, who was a director of Jumbo Cash and Carry. He phoned me straight. Jabu, now I'm Steve from Jumbo. I was like, I'm excited. The world director is calling me. I said, yeah, Steve. How can? No. I need your products here. When can you come and bring a product? He's not asking the price, because when you list they want to know your pricing, your trading terms, your what. There are a lot of things they ask. He didn't ask me anything. Say, Jabu, please, man, can you come? I want your product. Please, just bring me some samples now. Where are you? Can you come? My brother, I stopped everything right there. I drove straight to Jumbo. I gave him. As I'm giving him the samples, he took the product and started showing the traders now. Hey guys, we have Jabu Stone now here in the shop. Please place your orders. We have Jabu Stone. The whole director. Then that was history after that.
Wow.
And now, when Jumbo started asking for the product, then now you remember they are trading terms. They want to pay you in 30 days or 60 days after invoice, trade discount, marketing, all these things. And I didn't understand all that language. Now, when he came to me, Jumbo, I said, Jumbo, how do you work? I said, no, I work COD. COD. I said, what COD? I said, no, look, I bring my product, you give me the money. Hey, Jumbo, what's wrong with you? I said, no, but that's how I work. They could see I don't understand. I don't have money because I remember I didn't go to the bank to get the money. I was, it was from hand to mouth. I would go and sell and come back and all that. And then he looks at me and said, okay, let's make it 7 days as cash. I said, yeah, okay, 7 days is all right. So 7 days was converted to, so I will deliver my product on Monday. The following Monday, I get my check. And I go and buy another stock from Dr. Hansel. And I go. So I never carried those big guys like your 30 days, your 60 days. But that helps you once you create the demand. Like point A, celebrity endorsement, go to the young ones, those smaller yana shops on the corner. And when they go, the big boys now, those big boys, they're under pressure because remember, they're in business. They are under pressure to keep it. So now they listen to you because you are the one now, you dictate the terms. That is why I was the only brand in the market that was getting the money COD. Roche, I would go and collect a check of, I remember those days, 300,000 check. I would go and collect that check, 300,000. After 7 days, and I would take it and put mine in the pocket and say, now, again. So those are the things that, were happening because once you do your work, you create the space work, you create the demand from you will never go wrong. They are going to listen to you. But if you want to take, because I always listen to the people, they said, oh, Mr. Stone, I want my product to be in the chain stores, to be clicks and what. I said, you know what, you take your product to Pick and Pay. If it doesn't sell, they will delist you. If your product doesn't move, they will delist you and they will never list you again. It's better if the people go to clicks, to Pick and Pay and look for the product. Now, they are under pressure. When they come to you, tell you know what, you looking for this product, So it always works at your advantage. I'll quickly give you a short story that is similar to this one. With Pick and Pay, the son of Pick and Pay, who gave a forward in my book with Jonathan, Jonathan phoned me, Jonathan Ackerman. He phoned me one day.
No, I'm here.
Yeah. So Jonathan phoned me one day, said, is that Jabu? I said, yes. And remember, I went to visit Pick and Pay to list my product. The buyer refused, said, no, we don't want to keep it. We've got enough products on our shelves and we need to pay for listing fee. I didn't have that money. But Jonathan phoned me, hey, Jabu, why are you not in our shops? I said, sorry, Jonathan. He said, listen here, I was in Soweto. I did a trade visit in Soweto. Every third person I met in Soweto was saying he's using Jabu Stone. Now the question is, why are you not in the stores of Pick and Pay? Did they chase you as you want to go to the? I said, Jonathan, what are you saying? He said, Jabu, can you come and see me in Cape Town on Thursday? No appointments in my book, nothing, but I didn't want to show him that I'm excited. I said, Jonathan, just give me a chance, man. Can I check my diary quickly? You said when? Thursday. And then after dropping the phone, Roch, I was excited, my brother. I was punching the air, and from there, took a breath and I came back. I said, none of my Thursday is open, Jonathan. I can come and see. That's how I got listed with Pick and Pay.
Wow.
And with them, I told them as well, I said, I work cash. I said, hey, we work 30 days after statement. I said, I work, okay, let's make it 30 days after invoice. Then I couldn't, to me, I was never at 60 days or whatever.
Yeah.
90 days with Pick and Pay. That's 30 days after invoice. Deliver the invoice, get my money in 30 days, done. So once you do that, you've got a full control. They listen to you. You must, awesome. And the only thing that will make you do is that if you get to the grassroots and create the demand of your product, you're the winner.
Okay, no, thanks. Witumelo, you are next, and then after you is Mr. Makhatu. I know Blondie also wanted to say something. You'll come after Ntulani, but guys, remember the rules, switch on your video. Thank you so much. Witumelo?
Hi, Rosh. That is Stone. Good
We can't
evening,
see
Rosh.
you.
I'm not decent, so please pardon me.
Make it quick,
Please,
because I know Tulani is gonna switch on his video. Make it quick.
yeah. I just actually wanted, mine is actually 2 comments. Thank you for the simplicity of the book, especially when you unpacked your vision at the beginning, when you said, at first, nobody wanted to actually buy into your vision, but your family, most especially your wife, believed in your vision, and even your engineers friends who wanted to say, but Jabu, what are you doing? But you had a vision and you stuck by it and you never deviated from it. My question, which is a quick one, is that have you, your current business now, in terms of creating generational wealth, can your children step into it without you?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Menswani Rajabu.
Thank you for that, Bitumelo. You see, when I was, growing up, we had Babu Paloni, Abu Prapinki, they had filling stations in the township, and when they passed on, all those things, they closed down, Zaval, all those things. So to me, that was a worrying factor as well, because you need to have what you're talking about, the generational wealth. So the kids, but without as well forcing them to get into you need them to have their own identity at the same time. So what I've done, okay, before it was a one-man show, a Jabu Stone, but you graduate in business, you learn, you move on, and then I realized that I cannot do this alone. I need to take a stake and give to somebody else that will, even if I'm not around, will run with this, protecting his or her stake, in return protecting mine. Because if I've given a 30% stake in my business, Mr. So-and-so is fighting for, look, if we make R1 million profit, then he's got 300K. If we make 10, he's got 3 million. But what about, excuse me, my 70% is protected there. Now I've learned as you go along that I remember they once did a study on like what is business day, that Jabu Stone, is an entrepreneur, he's not an administrator. So I learned so much from that, because yes, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not an administrator. So you need to have an administrator in your business, people who can run it and admin, like look at all the day-to-day runnings of your business. So as I was moving along, those are the things that are put in place. The reason being, I always say that if anything happens to me today, what's going to happen to the people that I love? Because remember, I started this business to make my family happy, to make their life, all those things. So now what's going to happen if anything happens to me? Now that's when I created that structure. Now this is a business. Whether I am there or I am not there, it's still running. Whether I will go away for a month or 2 or whatever, but I will get a report from time to time that we have, these are the sales from clicks, these are the sales from Pick and Pay, and you've got a key accounts manager, you've got the manufacturing team, you've got research and development laboratories, whereby you've got people who say, you know what, the trend in the market, people are looking for example, now we've just introduced a new cannabis product. The trend is moving towards cannabis. Can you do that? You've got an R&D team that does that for you. And you've got people who say, you know what, let's list this product at Discam. I don't see Discam anymore. I don't even go and see those guys. But now I've got a team who does that. And then every quarter we sit, and then they give me, the layout, like, okay, there we are. This is where we're sitting. And then maybe I'll go to Durban and meet the sales and merchandise team that we are using, those guys who go and make sure that our shelves are looking good in Pick and Pays, in ShopRite and everything. I sit with them, just give some incentives, appear there, but they run and then they report to somebody, to a general manager, and they report to a marketing person. I've got your brand managers who are going to look at the look and feel of the brand. How does it look like? No, man, let's evolve. They are there to evolve your brand all the time, not like the revolution, but to evolve it from, from this look. If you can look at the Jabu Stone logo 10 years ago, looks slightly different now from how, but it's still a Jabu Stone logo, but now you see it's more of a heart now. It's more like, we kind of, temper, add something. So you've got a team that does that for you. So it's extremely important. Then I do what I'm good at, to go out there and start new things and talk to young people, because this is what I love. So that gives me an opportunity to do what I love most. So anything happens to me, yes, I have put everything in place to answer you. Yes, that is taken care of.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mr. Ntulani.
Okay, yeah, hey, my lighting is not amazing. But anyway, so I also have a few questions, so 3 in particular. So in terms of, so there was a section in your book where you were talking about mentorship, né? And yeah, there was a whole chapter where you were talking about how you were looking for a mentor. So already, I mean, that's a bit weird, because I think mentorship is a very new concept. Based on whatever we knew. So I'm surprised that probably in the 90s decades, you were already on finding a mentor. Where did that motivation come from? Number 1. Number 2, where did you get, how, and maybe this is also just a very shallow question. It just shows how I didn't know the insights into different relationships. But I think Hemen Mashaba had started Black Like Me a few years, or had become wealthy from it, maybe 10 years or 20 years just before you. How, I don't know, I would have expected some sort of a relationship to come from that, even though you did go through other possible mentors who you said, even one way level later, and do it better. So I wonder if he was there in the mix. Anyway, so that's a conversation around mentorship. What do you think of it? What are your views on it? Why did you have that insight then? The second thing was the West African trip, where you went to Senegal, Ivory Coast. There was a third one. And apparently that was also a disaster. I mean, no one was interested. It's like, you would expect Bona to be more into the dreadlocks than we are, but relax. So it's like, there was no difference. But you did mention in that chapter that you wanted then to go to USA. And at the end of your book, there were pictures of you with Oprah. So you wanted to be part of a delegation to go to USA. You had pictures with Oprah. I wonder if you did go to USA, were there ever plans to sell in USA? Are you selling there? Okay, fine. That's number 2. Number 3, okay, so I mean, based on what you just said right now, I get the sense that you're still very much invested in Jabu Stone, etc. But what other interests do you have? Like, have you invested in other areas? So whether it's other startups that might be in farming or whatever, do you have a venture capital? Are you investing elsewhere other than in hair care? So yeah, awesome. Those are my questions.
Awesome, thank you, Mr. Makatu. Angie, you are next after we are done with Mr. Makatu's questions. So prepare yours. Prajabu?
Sure. Is that who's the guy? Is that Tulani?
Tulani.
Tulani, ne? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Tulani, yes, mentorship. Roch earlier on mentioned that, as young people, you'll be mentored by somebody who's not even in your own township at times, like guys like Abundate, Richard Maponya. Those were people that are ahead of us. Hemen Mashaba, those are the people that we looked up on when they started their businesses, and you're like, yo, how did this guy make it, and all those. So others, you get closer to them, others you see them from afar, So that to me, it is still mentorship, So you look at them and then you follow, and then you want to be like, said, if you could, it's doable. Then if so and so can do it, then it's doable. So mentorship it's always very, very important. You have to look up on somebody because it helps you when, at times you hit the wall whereby you find, yo, how am I going to move on now? I'm like, but you know what? If so and so has done it, then which means there is something that he has done. Let me move on and make sure that it does happen. So yes, mentorship is very important to me. Yes, him and Mashaba, I happen to, we knew each other, from time to time, and now currently there are some projects that I'm doing with him and Mashaba's wife as well. So we are into that space as well, So yes, mentorship is very important to answer you on that one. And yes, in West Africa, yes, I went to Ghana. Unfortunately, in 1999, when I went to Ghana, the lock market, it was associated with the guys who would be in the beach, next to the, in the beach. They sell vegetables in the beach there and all that. And they would go and steal things in the communities and run there and go to the beach. So people would, so it was kind of, when you talk about this, said, no, these guys are thugs. They don't listen to anybody. So it was it was a hairstyle that was not acceptable, because I remember, I was sitting there and I had guys who had relaxer products, and these guys, when it was my turn to start introducing my product, I remember they looked at me and said, "Hey, young man, please don't waste our time." And I was like, okay. Then I stopped talking, So that was 1999. But fast forward to 2004, I went back to Ghana, and the response was very positive, because I met a lady who was also interested. But funny, I met the lady in New York when I went to exhibit my product at the Bronner Brothers show and also at Jacob Javits in New York and Bronner Brothers in Atlanta. This lady from Ghana, she said, "Jabu, why are you in New York? Why are you not? You're supposed to be doing Africa." And then I said, "Look, please invite me. I do not give her the story what happened to me when I was, no, just invite me. I'll come to Ghana." And then, but I told her the conditions that if I come to Ghana, I want you to make sure that, and then I've got the media coverage, the radio, the television, the what. I need all the things that I would do at home. And then, yes, she did that. And yeah, by the time I was done with the lady Chiboti Dusu, the Jabu Stone brand was everywhere in Ghana, So you always, you hit the wall, but you don't stop, you come back, yeah. So yes, in the USA, we went as a delegation to go and sell South Africa as a brand, with all or most of the businesses. And I went there, and then we were in New York. And then what I did in New York, then I started going to Harlem, meeting the salons and, the organization there, the hairdressers organization, to introduce my brand, my product. And then from there, we went to Chicago, where we met Oprah. But there was also the Chicago Chamber of Commerce, whereby they organized the businesses to come in. So those are the things that we've, I've achieved when I went there. Then that's where we met Oprah, invited us to Harper Studios. And then we went to Atlanta as well. In Atlanta, we did the same thing. Excuse me. But the response was very positive on Jabu Stone in all these areas. in New York, positive. The response, that was 2004. And in Chicago, extremely positive, the response, and in Atlanta. And then we went back, and then going back, and then, like any other business happens, you will go through some turbulences. And then the business went through some turbulences, and then I stopped, trading in the US. I had to focus at home to restructure it again. Yes, we are kind of back again in the US on a small scale now, to sell, yeah. We'll talk about diversifying. Yes, it's a norm that you will do something, and then, yeah, we do get involved in different line of businesses, of which I'm not going to share it at the moment, on the platform, but you will know about it. Roche will be the first one. We've diversified, and but one that I can just mention, we've got a stone mineral water now, whereby we get water from a farm in Mukubong. We get the water from like a pure mineral, of which we, my team already started working with the spa, because water is a very competitive market. We are into that and other things. But the way I work now, I create a team and we work together with a group. And then I know that our responsibilities and others will do this and all that. So yes, we do work, and I'm open to quite a number of things that are coming up in my way.
So were you on the Oprah show, African man from, dreadlock man from Africa? Were you also on the Oprah show, and did they put your products under the seats where everyone is having it?
No, we didn't do that. Actually, when we went to see Oprah, she was at her studio, and then we went to visit her at her studio, not on the show. We visited her personally as a delegation from South Africa. Yeah.
Okay, great. Blondie, thanks, Mr. Ntulani. Angie, I remember I recognized Blondie, and you'll be after Blondie. Sorry about that. Blondie, quickly. Okay. I don't know if anyone
No
can.
problem. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Loud
yes, I
and
can
clear.
hear you. Go for
I
it.
have bad internet connection, like I said on the chat box.
Yeah.
How are you, Bob Stone?
Yep. Oh, I'm okay. Thanks. How are you, man?
Nyaphila. For me, the book was more, it took me on a nostalgic tour. I know in Isalun Sakasisnomsa, so I know because I was a patron there. I did my hair, and then subsequently there was a development of your product. So it's not a question; it's actually a comment, because I went through the book, and for me, it's, you know, the history I'm very much aware of, because I had, I was in some proximity, Togo at some point, and I know them very well, Andy. So and so it brought a lot of good memories. And I did say to Roche when he sent me the book, to say, I know the book very well, and I could walk the journey, because I'm quite familiar with that environment and the setup and the journey. So I know it very well. But it's a very well written, it's a memoir for me. It's a memoir because, and what I liked mostly about each end of a chapter was the thinking space, because it encourages one to think. I know we read a lot of books daily, and we don't really get an opportunity to have a thinking space to write what we feel. It's always about the author and what they feel and what they went through. So it was a very good one. I really enjoyed it. I loved the back part where you shared a little bit of pictures of the product history and the blueprint of how to start human. That for me stood out, because you don't get to experience that when you read a book. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Jabu,
Thank you very much.
comments?
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I'm humbled, man. I'm just getting some goosebumps here when somebody says, you mentioned my sisters, my family, and all the things that I've said. It's like, wow, it's touching. Thank you very much for that, Blondie. I really appreciate it.
So when the Oppenheimers are coming from the mining and the diamonds and the what, the stones are coming from the hair. It's a hair family.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Angie, thanks, Blondie. Angie?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Stone. Just to say thank you so much. Your book is really honest, really direct, really straight, and it really touches a lot of key topics for entrepreneurship, very clear, straightforward. For me, what really stood out and what I really admire from your whole journey and is the fact of you going against what it was trending. For me, that was something very, I don't know, outstanding, and I think it's part of being a great entrepreneur, looking for the opportunities and to solve a problem, and even if it had such a bad reputation or it was not trending, whatever, you just went with what your passion was, what your purpose. And I usually say purpose rather than passion, because I feel like passion can fade, as you said, but if it's also very linked to your personal values, to your beliefs, right, that will help you stand out in the difficulties of entrepreneurship. So you enter a not crowded market. My question would be, what would have been, I don't know how you would have reacted, or what can you tell an entrepreneur that is trying to get into a very saturated market? I'm a marketer. I do a bit of branding as well. And it's amazing that I have most of my clients, even if they don't know it, they are trying to build businesses in this cosmetic industry. I have done a bit of labels for 3 people trying to do the same thing. So of course I help them with what they hire me, the branding. But what would you tell to people that are trying to get into a very saturated market, or what would you do? Like you didn't go through that area, but what would you do?
Great question. Thanks, Angie. I mean, your blueprint is about introducing a new product, and creating a new market. But if you were to go into an existing industry, existing market, existing products, would that blueprint still apply?
Yeah.
You see, the market is saturated. If the market is saturated, I think what you need to do is to understand that market. Let's say, for example, the hair industry now, it's saturated. There's lots of products out there. Lots of products. You go to the shelves. Everybody thinks it's one of the hair product. It's saturated. But you have to look and say, what is it that they're not doing? You know, we talk about the guerrilla warfare tactics here. Just look at what are they not doing? How can you get into the space that are not there? So to me, I would say whoever is in that saturated market must have a look. What is it that, like, for example, we've got products that are really giving me some hard time. You know, they come to me and say they're doing this and all that. But those products, to me, I look, and I'll give an example. There's a new method of locking hair in the market now. It's no more twisting. I came with twisting. It takes about 3 months for the hair to start locking. But some guys came up with a crochet where you use some kind of a crochet needle. Now I looked at it and said, oh, this one is threatening me. Then I had to learn it and be specialize in it. Now people are learning it from me. So you have to be on your toes. You have to study these guys who are in that market. What is it that they are doing? And what is it that they are not doing? So you excel on that. If, for example, all these products are having your coconut oil and everything, make a research on a new product that you can introduce your product to be different from all those in the market. And say, my product is got this raw material. That is, you just give us a history about that raw material. Could be your marula or your whatever, but you need to come up with something that is going to be catchy to the people. But you don't sit and say, you know what, the market is saturated. I've started my brand. No. Still, just look at those guys. Just look at the top brands and see what is it that they are not doing. And what are the trends? You know, what are the people? Then you kind of capitalize and come up with something that will make you stand in firm. That's what
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Colleagues, we have run out of time. Tebogo, do you want to quickly, or should I read it? Do you want to come on quickly, ask your question, or should I read it for you?
I can quickly ask. I've stopped
Okay.
coughing.
Okay, great.
I think Rajabu, thanks for a great book. I also have nostalgic feeling about it because I used to go to your salon in Hillbrow, but at that time I was not ready for dreadlocks. It took 10 years later that I actually thought dreadlocks. I cut them, and now I'm going back to the path. So keep going. So I have one question. I think a lot of entrepreneurs complain that it's commendable that you're at Pick n Pay and you're still there and you're on the right level at the shelves. But a lot of entrepreneurs who get into Pick n Pay and they disappear within 6 months, they complain that the strategy of going on shelves squeezes their margins because Pick n Pay has, as small players, they're not going in with the same advantage that you had then. So my question is that how would you advise an entrepreneur going with Pick n Pay? What do you do to get a good deal with them that you can actually sustain the supply? And did you get good margins, or did they squeeze your margins? What kind of deal? How do you maneuver the big players?
Okay, now I'm gonna give you a short story quickly. I met a lady who had her own product, and then I was excited. They were somewhere in Newtown Junction, So I saw this product and spoke to her, and they said, "No, Jabu, I've got my product." I said, "No, beautiful, well done." And then I need to Pick n Pay is kind of inviting Black women to come and list the products. Then she phoned me and said, "Look, I've got an appointment with Pick n Pay." Then I said to her, "Listen, when you go to Pick n Pay, make sure that they list your product only in Gauteng. Don't be excited they're gonna put your product everywhere. Just ask for Gauteng." And then she left, and then she went there. She came back to me and she said, "Yo, Jabu, I've got 75 stores." I said, "Well done. Where are they?" Uppington, Durban, East London, PE. Now, remember, you've got, remember I spoke about sales, merchandise, the guys that would go to the shelf and take the product from the storeroom into the shelf. Now, I've got those guys, me, as Jabu Stone, because we've been in the industry, but she doesn't have them. Now, when I started with Pick and Pay, I asked Jonathan that, can I do, we call it drop shipment. Can I supply only the Gauteng stores? Now, the reason for that was for me to deliver the product, HMBisa, Pick and Pay, all the Pick and Pays around here. So I know that if I can go again and look at the product, if the product is not on the shelf, it's easier for me to go from the back, I can put it on the shelf. Because now if it's the store, it's Uppington, how are you going to get to Uppington? Because the product are equal shelving, and the people who are selling the Pick and Pay, it's not their job to make sure that your product is on the shelf. You must have a sales and merchandise person. Also, I tied up from the back, I beg it on the shelf. And if your space is empty, and then my team will put a Jabu Stone product there because you're not there. And the store manager won't want an empty shelf. We'll make sure that it doesn't matter what you put, but my shelf cannot be empty. So the advice I would give to somebody who is getting to a Pick and Pay or ShopRite, you must ask for, if you are based in Gauteng, ask for Gauteng stores. And make sure that you are going to be able to go there. Because this young lady, a month down the line, 2 months down the line, said, Jabu, can you invest in my business? Jabu, I need to go to Durban. And by that time, remember, she needs payment. And the Pick and Pay is not going to pay because the product is not moving on the shelf. And then now at Durban, the sales are not moving. Why? The product is sitting in a storeroom. It's sitting at the storeroom. And they measure the sales based on what is selling on the till. That's how they measure the rate of sale. Call it the rate of sale. So if there's no sales on the till, then your product is not moving. So why must they keep it? So that is why it is extremely important when you list with those big stores, ask the buyer, even the buyer said, no, I want to list, no, please, can you list me in my area first? So you will be able to control your growth. And then once you know that the product is available on the shelf, then you can expand and go to other areas, Durban and other provinces. It's very important that ask for, your within your area where you can supply. I don't know
Awesome.
what I'm answering.
Are you good? Great. Thanks. Thanks, the colleagues. We run out of time. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brajabu. Shama, quickly, 1 minute. Shama?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
For me, it was another nostalgic down memory lane because I was one of those kids whose hair scalp used to get fried. So I've been natural for like 12 years now, 1 year dreadlocks, and I've been a Jabu Stone consumer, Gaborone, Botswana, and the guy who started my dreads worked at a Jabu Stone in Main Mall, Gaborone. So, I mean, the book, everyone at Lora Book Club knows I'm the scholar who's always behind, but this one I read it in 2 days and I absolutely loved it because it felt like such a one-stop guide for entrepreneurship. Basically starting with the history of Black hair and how your journey started and how you, like even the distribution chain, how you like got into warehouses and all of that. And then next thing we're learning how dreadlocks are done, how to take care of your hairline. And then I I'm an entrepreneur lecturer or coach. And that part where you said you're in the business of saving scalp, I'm like, value proposition, right? And then as we went along, the part about if you need mentoring, ABC, contact AB, I'm like, call to action. I absolutely loved it. And I also loved at the end of every chapter, the reflection and all of that. And it felt like, Brajabu, you were literally holding our hands. It's such a small book, but it's like jam-packed with every single thing you need to know as an entrepreneur, to a point where like now I understand that your product is your product until it leaves the shop, not while it's still there. It's your problem, not the shop's problem. And just yesterday we had a networking session with a man from one of the biggest distribution centers in Gaborone, and he said exactly what was said in the book. So it's 100 out of 10 for me, 100 out of 100. Absolutely loved it. Thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
you very much. Thanks.
Rajabu, it's 100 out of 10. Thank you so much, Shama.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jabu. I know I am 10 minutes over time, and I apologize for that. Thank you so much, colleagues, for your questions, inputs. And Jabu, thank you so much for always being available and for always, you know, the generosity to share. I mean, I had questions, but I think for the sake of time, I'm sure I'll find another platform to abuse you and ask those questions. I think for me, you know, I really enjoyed the discussion, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, all the best. We're looking forward to hearing other ventures that you'll be starting. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Ross. Thanks to the team. Really appreciate that. Thanks for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, colleagues. Our next book that we'll be reviewing, Ego is the Enemy, 24th of March. We'll be reviewing that book, and yeah, we are now getting into how to deal with the ego and how to tame the ego. We all have ego, and those who have done Lora programs will know about the book because I usually use it as a Bible. But yeah, 24th of March is our next review. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And yeah, get the book. It's available. It's widely available. If you can't find it, let me know, and maybe I can try and see if we can get it to your neck of the woods. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time, and apologies for the 10 minutes beyond time, and I'm hoping to see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rush. Thank you, Jabu.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Enjoy your evening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jabu.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.